How do you feel about a friend with benefits, but instead of sexual benefits, it's just cuddling? This one time I was hanging out with one of my day one homies. We were kicking it at my place, drinking some 40s and smoking some bomb-ass kush when he suddenly turned to me and gently grabbed the side of my face, locked eyes with me, and slowly leaned in to gently place his gangster-ass lips onto mine. I was shocked that I pushed him away before asking him what the fuck he was doing. He responded with "Whoa, no homo," so I immediately calmed down, told him it was all good, and then I proceeded to allow him to stick his gangster-ass penis into my ass. It was definitely one of those moments that could have been gay but was not, because he clarified his actions with the necessary "no homo." Phew. I know this is the opposite of what you're asking for, but here's my story. I had a friend with those benefits, cuddling. Mostly because our relationship, not incest or illegal, didn't allow us to go further, but we never intimated we wanted more and actually had both said to each other that we didn't want anything further. Worked for over 6 months, before against our better judgment we escalated it, and it escalated fast. Cuddling that much causes romantic feelings to develop, and all it takes once those feelings are there and you're already cuddling alone is one person doing something about their feelings for the hormones to take charge. Reason I'm saying this is because even though it worked perfectly for the 6 months 1 year that we did it, but once it's risky since you don't know it won't go past that stage. I really do think it can work. I feel like I've been in situations where it was close to working. Frequently I've found that, when a good opposite-sex friend and I are both between relationships, we can fall pretty easily into a sort of cuddly romantic friendship where we hang out a lot, share about our thoughts and our lives, even do things that look like dates, for example getting dressed up and going out for cocktails, or being the other's plus one at an event. It's a really nice kind of relationship, but inevitably one person finds a real romantic partner and the other one is just left alone. And being that other person can feel really sucky. I've had this sort of relationship with some women in my life. A couple of times it led to sex, but about a dozen times it didn't, because one or both of us weren't interested. I also hugged my close guy friends. I was starved for physical affection as a kid and as a young adult. I got into things like dance and massage and a few human growth activities and I hung out a lot with people from other cultures where touch was more common. This was exactly what happened with my old best friend. We are both women, and bisexual, and found each other very attractive. She was fresh out of an abusive relationship with her kid's dad at the time and I was living the single life. We cuddled all the time, spent the night together at her house and snuggled. Eventually we both realized we wanted more after I told her my feelings towards her were getting stronger and we gave into temptation. A few months after that she met a guy she really liked. We stopped hanging out and I was hurt so bad by it. We aren't even friends on social media anymore. In theory, great, but in practice, there is a huge overlap between the people I'd want to cuddle with and the people I'd want to have sex with. For me, the cuddling would make most sense before or after sex. Sure, it doesn't have to be sexual, but if things are already that intimate, it isn't a far step to other feelings. On the other hand, just yesterday my cousin was telling me about this, how he and a friend were doing lots of cuddling, even reading the Cuddle Sutra, which I guess is about platonic but intimate cuddle positions. He seems real happy about it, but I know if that were me, the emotional catharsis of cuddling and the physical catharsis of sex go best together. I might be happy to just cuddle, but damn I'd be super horny after, assuming I'm attracted to my cuddle partner, which could be safely assumed if I'm cuddling with them. Well put, I concur with this comment. Funnily enough, I could imagine a no strings attached, just sex relationship being actually _less emotionally confusing, because, hey, you've already had sex, now talking and being open about how that made you feel, and if it's potentially something you won't be able to do anymore without catching feelings, is basically part of the arrangement, plus, the really strong biological urge has been taken care of, so there's less tension. Whereas if both people said you just wanted to cuddle, saying hey, I feel like I want more now might be seen as breaking the just cuddling agreement. But maybe that's just an error in how I imagine this would go down. Had that arrangement with a friend in college. Would definitely do it again for multiple reasons. Gets rid of feelings of skin hunger / touch starvation. Made me much more confident around women. Had a guaranteed date for miscellaneous formal social events. If you find someone open to this, go ahead. Just know that they might break it off if they find someone that gives sex and cuddles. Also had this quite naturally with a friend in college. We had a very physically close friendship for years, but without any sex or sexual overtones. We were just comfy with each other and affectionate, sometimes even held hands. Stopped when he got a serious girlfriend though, as I'm sure it would have been crossing boundaries with their relationship. As in the cuddling stopped, but our friendship continued on. As far as I know, neither of us ever had romantic or sexual feelings for each other, and we often talked about our feelings about other people and relationships/crushes we had. It was just a great friendship and I treasured it. I mean, in high school and college we had a co-ed group of about a dozen friends. On movie nights we all chose a cuddle buddy before settling in to watch. That group had male and female, gay/straight/bi friends and there was no bias, we just grabbed a friend and cuddled. If we were doing a movie marathon, we often switched cuddle buddies in between movies. Edit: I grew up in an emotionally abusive household, and rarely gave or received physical or verbal affection. Before I found this group of friends, many of my other friends would make fun of me for being unable/unwilling to say, "I love you" or to accept physical contact like hugs. This new group of friends gave me a safe place to love and be loved without any pressure or strings attached. When I first started going to movie nights with them, I would sit in the kitchen or on the floor in front of the couch. They did not judge me for it. I'm not close to anyone from that group now, but I'm forever grateful to the love they gave me and taught me to accept. More edits. 1. Thank you for the award. 2. Even in romantic relationships, you should totally have cuddles that don't lead to sex. I am now married. My spouse and I snuggle most nights while either watching TV or with one of us playing video games. Sometimes the snuggling leads to sex, but there is never pressure to do it if one of us isn't in the mood. Sometimes I just need snuggles. My spouse gives me a safe space of comfort and love. No matter the relationship, snuggling should not imply sex is mandatory. I'm a female truck driver who is bisexual and doesn't have the greatest of luck when picking partners for relationships. About 3 years ago I broke up with a manipulative asshole of an ex, and decided that I wasn't going to get involved with anyone for a while. Clear my plate so to speak. But I was lonely. There are lots of truckers out here that are in it for one-night stands, but I'm just not that kind of person. I needed comfort, without the sex and all the strings attached. So in my weird wisdom when I was planning on going home to basically recharge my batteries and see some family, I posted an ad on Craigslist. Nothing special. Just pretty much free room and board in a semi-truck, free travel, no felons obviously, the only requirement was to provide platonic comfort after the long days and nights, and to help out with paperwork and sending messages over our electronic log, gets things done faster and it isn't hugely difficult. There of course were the thousands of spam ads and several guys who thought I was playing prostitute, but then I had a few promising replies. Should mention here that a needed-at-length interview needed to happen and where we would spend the day together doing whatever and learning about one another so we knew we were compatible writing buddies. One woman replied, "We met and had a wonderful afternoon." She wanted a break from some of her life responsibilities, her lease on her place was up, she was also bisexual, we liked the same things, had the same kind of humor, music likes, etc. etc. She was with me in my truck for about 7 months and some change. We drove all over the US. She learned stuff about truckers, I learned things about what she did, keeping things anonymous as she uses Reddit, and we had the best time. We cuddled during my 10 hours breaks, she got thousands of pictures and went to dozens of places she never would have if she hadn't replied to my Craigslist post. We parted ways as she got tired of the traveling life like most normal folks and we still correspond once in a while. We both have different lives now, as I'm engaged with surprise baby number 4 on the way, and she's married with 2 lovely children of her own. That's my story anyway. Edit: this blew up so sorry if I haven't replied to your comment, my inbox is kinda swamped. I also screwed up the timelines. I'm not good at numbers but I'll explain here. I broke up with my ex in March 2017, and my friend got onto the truck with me about 2 months later. She stayed on the truck until midway through 2018. Her relationship and subsequent children's birth timelines are a little weird, but in short it was a whirlwind romance that ended in twin boys being born. Sorry for the confusion. Edit 2. For those that are jabbing me in the side for my surprise 4th kid. I have 3 older children. My youngest is 12 now, besides the one I'm pregnant with now, and my ex-husband and I divorced a few years after she was born. My fiancé now is, for all other explanations, broken. His little soldiers don't swim, and half or more don't carry genetic info to even make a baby. I was also on birth control at the time too. It's my surprise baby, my fiancé's miracle baby. So much this. I tried it for a while. I could not hack it. Hats off to all y'all who drive big rigs. Y'all are a special breed. Here's one way to tell if you can be a trucker: Drive out to a gas station. Park. Eat dinner from whatever their Quickie Mart has to offer. Leave your engine running and try to get a good night's rest. Then after exactly 8 hours, drive for 8 hours and try to rest with your engine running again. Earplugs don't help, that beast vibrates your being. I felt like my heartbeat would sync up with the truck's idle. And you have to keep the engine on to run the AC. And if you have to sleep at 2 p.m. because rules in the middle of summer while parked at a rest stop, you gotta keep the engine going or you are cooked spam in a can. Or how about, do you like to eat at Denny's? You'll wish you could eat at Denny's after a week of truck stop food. It's like cafeteria food that's designed to give you a heart attack. Do you like to shower at the gym? Every day week? Are you fastidious about checking out your car before you drive? No? Too bad, you're dead. You forgot to check your trailer's brakes. One of the air cylinders was rusted through and exploded. Are you really good at shifting? No? Too bad, you're dead. Miss that downshift and your brakes will burn up before you can make the emergency exit ramp. Oh, if you do make the emergency exit ramp and plow headfirst into a pile of gravel, you have to pay for that. If the company determines you were at fault, and they will, that comes out of your pocket. Ready to be managed via email? You get instructions on your console. Your dispatcher will also ping you if you are not moving when you are supposed to be moving. You will grow to loathe that little light on the console. God bless you and keep you safe, drivers. Thank you for the job you do. It is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. If you leave a family behind for extended runs, it's really hard. I certainly learned my limits behind the wheel of a big rig. As a guy, I'm all in on this idea. Touch deprivation is a real thing, and having another human being's touch, even a hand on a shoulder, is enough to give some cathartic relief. If someone hugs me for longer than a couple seconds, I have to pull away before I start tearing up. Not to be dramatic, but it is that bad. I don't know what these other people are talking about at always resorting to sex. As a straight male, I've cuddled with friends before, both females and males, college friends when we were going through tough times together, and it was nothing but refreshing for us. Nothing ever went sexual, and it actually gave us a long-term emotional boost. Highly recommend everyone to try. I think it comes with maturity too. My girlfriend and I communicate well and have come to terms with allowing each other to be physically affectionate with friends, never anything remotely sexual, but think of that episode of Friends when Joey and Ross would secretly cuddle together, or when Chandler and Rachel would cuddle on the couch every so often. The key is for the friend to be a friend of both of us, not just one of us. That way, there's more security and everything becomes a lot less threatening. We both understand there aren't romantic feelings or emotional affairs attached. It really is just, to the most simplest of terms, human love. Edit, deprivation, not depravity.